Support for NPR and the following message come from Wise, the smart way to move money around the world. With the Wise account, you'll always get the real exchange rate when you send, spend, and receive money between 80 countries. Try Wise for free at wise.com/NPR.
Car Talk from National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're broadcasting this week from the physics department here at Car Talk Plaza.
Is Professor Laszlo Tiza here today?
He may be. See, something that not just we, but I mean the entire world thought was impossible may now be possible. Now, you may have read about this a few weeks ago in the newspaper. Scientists in Princeton, New Jersey, using a combination of atomic and electromagnetic manipulation, have made light travel faster than light.
Get out of town!
I mean, Einstein postulated that nothing
can travel,
including light, can travel faster than 186,000 miles a second. And
which,
these guys,
in my opinion, is plenty fast enough.
Well, interestingly, these guys have gotten light to travel so fast. You ready for this?
Yeah.
That the light comes out of the machine before it goes in. All of this, of course, raises a fascinating practical question here at Car Talk Plaza. A few years ago, Bugsy, who's in charge of procuring and delivering cars to us, had to deliver a test car to Tommy. And he called Tommy up in the morning and asked when he would be at his office. And Tommy said, well, I'm going in a little late today. So Bugsy said, well, that's okay. I'll come in the afternoon. Tommy said, well, I'll be leaving on the early side.
Well, I had stuff to do.
To which Bugsy replied, well, don't leave too early or you'll pass yourself coming in.
So now it may actually be possible for me to do that.
You may.
I may have been doing it all the time.
All these years, you may have been on the brink.
As always.
Of a Nobel Prize.
I'm on the cutting edge of technology.
Indeed.
As always. Man.
Now, look, if your car is not traveling at the speed of light or even the speed of dark, call us and we'll try to help. The number is 888-CAR-TALK. What is the speed of dark?
Dark is faster than light, isn't it?
Maybe.
I mean, I think so. The speed of dark. Again, see, on the cutting edge, no one has even mentioned the speed of dark before.
Because it seemed unimportant.
Not anymore.
The
speed of dark.
1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Mabel from Aspen, Colorado.
That's a seldom heard name, Mabel.
Seldom heard. Very Victorian.
Victorian?
Yeah, it's kind of gone now. People don't use it.
I don't equate that with Victorian. I equate Mabel with more like a diner.
A diner. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey Mabel, can I have some hash with them eggs or what? I mean,
well, but a Victorian diner.
Yes.
Victorian diner. There you are.
Well-appointed diner. Anyway,
Yeah.
So where are you from, Mabel?
Aspen.
From Aspen in Colorado.
Oh, how charming.
What's
Very
up?
charming.
What can we do for you? What do you want to talk about today?
Well, it's my Subaru.
Yeah.
My 82 Subaru. With
82.
181,000 miles. And she went in for one of those short checks, and she came out with this. My guy said that both valve cover gaskets are seeping,
That's
and
good.
the head gaskets are leaking.
Oh, sure.
The CV boots are cracking, but not ripped yet.
Okay.
And they suggested that by fall, I get these repaired. My question is, should I just go for a whole new motor, a whole...
No!
No, Mabel, let's not be alarmists here.
Oh!
No, relax, will you?
This is something easy?
Well, it isn't easy unless you got about $700 with you, but it's not the end of the world either.
Now,
Okay.
I might want to fix the valve covers. Those are relatively cheap.
Yeah.
You're not going to fix the head gasket?
No. Under no circumstances touch the head gasket.
Why?
Well, because I think, first of all, that most of the leak is probably coming from one of two places. Either the valve cover gaskets or the camshaft seals, and he may have even overlooked that.
Ah.
So he may be erroneously, he may have erroneously concluded
Yes.
that the leak is coming from the head gaskets when in fact it may be coming from the camshaft seals, which leak all the time on these things.
Okay.
Oh, he didn't actually determine that the head gasket is bad. He just said that there's an oil leak.
Well, what I took it in for was this constant oil leak, which she's had for, 5 or 10 years, drip, drip. And then it got really bad.
Oh.
And they let's see, they replaced the leaking rear differential pinion seal.
Okay.
And the R&R oil pump and reseal and replace front main seal.
Okay, so they may have done the cam seals at that same time.
So he's been.
So now you have a leak that's considerably diminished.
Yes, it's greatly diminished.
Oh.
Can you live with?
They said,
Can you live
to
with
keep
it?
her running, that I needed to do these gasket things.
Well, like I said, I may want to do the gaskets.
I agree with my brother completely.
But
do the valve cover gaskets. That's
but not
it.
the head gasket.
No.
Okay.
No,
No,
I
because
agree.
you have two head gaskets. Because you have two cylinder heads on this thing.
Yeah.
And if you do one, you're gonna do the other one.
Aha.
So you're looking at $1,000.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they said
Out of the
700.
question.
So that's why I was thinking a new engine costs $2,000. Why not just go?
No, you don't need anything. You need a $50 worth of valve cover gaskets,
Oh.
and you'll be all set.
Do the valve cover gaskets first.
And see how it goes.
They're probably like $75.
Yeah.
See how much the leak is diminished. And the worst case scenario is it leaks a little bit, but it's got 180,000 miles on it. What do we expect here?
Right. What do I expect?
Yeah, I mean, sure. And if it does leak a little bit, forget about it.
What are you worried about? Dirtying the snow in Aspen?
Just put the cardboard underneath there, huh?
Yeah, they
Sure.
have the cat sleep under there. Something, I don't know.
And then hose down the cat.
Yeah.
Right.
Good luck, Mabel.
Thanks very much.
Talk to you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, this is Mark in Dickinson, North Dakota.
Dickinson.
Uh-huh.
Has the snow melted yet in North Dakota?
Yes, it's raining today.
Cool.
What's shaking?
I have a Suburban, 77 Suburban I'm having some problems with.
Go ahead.
Well, this is the vehicle I use in my work. I do a lot of field work, and I always practice preventive maintenance. So this winter I thought, well, okay, the transmission's got over 300,000 on it. I'm going to replace it, do some other stuff. I'm not even going to rebuild it. I just want to buy a rebuilt. That was 6 rebuilts ago.
Really?
The first 3 came...
So let me get this right. There was really nothing wrong with the transmission, and you decided to fix it.
Well, it was getting a little sloppy. It made a few noises. It would ding.
But it worked, right?
It worked.
It
yeah.
worked. And now you're 6 transmissions later.
It worked pretty much okay. And the worst part is you traded in the only one that was working
Yeah, unfortunately.
to get
I
one
did
of these
that.
bogus rebuilds.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it seems that way.
Yeah.
I went to Mr. Goodwrench because I figured, well, it's their vehicle. They should be able to work on it.
Ah.
And they got the rebuilds from supposedly certified rebuilders out of town. The first 3 came from one rebuilder. Finally, they gave up, went to another rebuilder, and got another 3 of them. And I have a feeling I'm looking at number 7 here in the next couple of weeks.
Really? What kinds of problems have you had with all of
Well,
them?
the very first one showed up with the wrong bearing installed on the front. They put in the gear lube and it just ran out. The second one they put in and test drove it, and it locked up and tore out the clutch.
This is a stick shift?
Yeah, manual.
Mark.
This is a stick.
I could understood it if it were an automatic. I'd say, well, you never know when an automatic's going to blow. And with 300,000 miles on it, you're probably ready. So I could have accepted it. But a stick shift.
Wait a minute. Now,
Oh.
the guy did what he did. There's no reason for you to castigate him in this way. He feels bad enough. He's going through 6 transmissions, and you're going to make him feel rotten?
When you've done something this stupid, you ought to feel rotten.
He already knows that.
No, he didn't
he's
really know.
He's looking for solace. He's looking for some
No, he's looking for a
consolation.
transmission. That's what he's really looking for.
He's looking for a friend. He's looking for support.
Do you have a significant other, Mark?
Unfortunately, no.
No, it's a good thing, because you'd never hear the end of this.
Well, I
You think
I'll
we're
never hear the
bad.
end of it. I'll never hear the end of it anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Does this thing have a, I can't say that I can remember what a 77 Suburban with a stick shift
But
had.
is
Does the
it
shifter
on the
go
floor?
Right, it is on the floor, but does it go right into the transmission, or is there a
Right.
shifter?
No, it's a straight
It's a
shaft.
straight in.
Straight shot.
So the problem is not in the shifter, it's internal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wow. I'll tell you, it's interesting. We don't have anyone that can rebuild manual transmissions anymore. We really don't.
Well, I mean,
And certainly not in North Dakota.
but there's got to be some guy left somewhere. There must be some guy, Krusty, or
Krusty.
Mario. Or, I mean, there's got to be some guy in some little shop somewhere. Where would he be?
Well, I think your best bet at this point is to try to find the one you traded in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's long gone.
No, that's long gone, but somewhere somebody has a 4-speed gearbox for your Suburban, a used one.
I would go to a junkyard, or as we call them, auto recycling centers, and you'll probably get one that's a heck of a lot better than these things that these guys are rebuilding.
And field tested.
Field tested, because you do
Well-
a lot of field work.
That's apparently what I do for a living. I field test transmissions.
You didn't know you were in that line of work
Yeah.
until just
No,
recently.
you're in the quality control business.
Well, if I went to a wrecking yard and picked one up,
Yeah.
should I rebuild it?
No, it works.
What are you, nuts?
It probably works. I mean, most vehicles don't go to the junkyard because the transmission stopped working.
Uh-huh.
Most of them go to the junkyard because something else stopped working, like the back fell off, or the engine died, or a piano fell on it. And the transmissions usually are still good.
Well,
So
that
I
was-
think your chances are excellent of getting one in a junkyard or a wrecking yard or a
And this same
recycling
transmission was
center.
used in the pickup truck, too. I mean, so it's not, it's not exclusive to this Suburban.
okay. I'll start looking around.
Good luck.
Figure I got about 1,000 miles to go, and I'm taking off tomorrow for Wyoming, so that's probably where it'll all happen.
Good luck, man. I'm glad
Okay,
you
thanks.
sound like you can take a joke. You're a
Yes.
good guy.
Okay, thanks.
Good for you,
See
man.
you later.
He didn't know he was in the field testing business for transmissions. I like that.
1-888-CAR Talk or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, my name's Jessica, and I'm in Bloomington, Indiana.
Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi there.
Hi, I'm good. I have a strange problem. I have a Volkswagen Jetta, and I inherited it from my mother at the beginning of this year, and I have a very unique problem with it. It doesn't happen to her. It happens to me, and this is what I'm trying to figure out, is that it shocks me when I put the key in the ignition. It gives me an electric shock. And this never happened to my mom, and it happens to me. And the best that I've been trying to figure it out, and the best I can figure out is that I have kind of big hair, and I didn't know if that was kind of the problem.
Ooh, hey, ooh.
Big
really?
hair will do it.
Big hair.
Okay.
I'll tell you what else it has to do with.
What kind of clothing do you wear?
Clothing. I guess I might wear shinier clothes than my mother
Huh?
in general, maybe.
Nah.
And what kind of upholstery in the Jetta? It's not that really ugly stuff that the
Yeah, it's not very pretty.
man. They got some taste in fabric.
Yeah.
German cars have the weirdest
But
upholstery.
this is an opportunity for my brother to insult yet another ethnic group. So go, feel free, man. Do whatever you
Well, I
think
mean,
is
it's
best.
a narrow thing. It's people who design the fabric in factories in Germany that make certain kinds of cars.
And who would those people be?
Germans. But it does have cloth fabric, your car.
Yeah, it is cloth, and it could be more hideous, but it is kind of fuzzy.
And I know I've asked this question at least once before. Do you use a cream rinse?
I do use a cream rinse.
You
She
do
does.
use a cream
oh,
rinse.
Jessica does use a cream rinse.
Yeah, I just
Now, I remember when you asked this question once before.
Well, here's the deal, and I'll tell you, I have in the winter especially, and I suppose now that the weather's hot and humid, it is probably the severity of these shocks has diminished.
yes,
Probably, maybe even disappeared.
right.
I do not have the problem in the summer, but in the winter
Yeah.
or the fall, the fall is the worst. Boy, I go out to almost any car that I'm driving, and sometimes even opening the door can do it.
Zap you.
Okay.
It's brutal, and I've discovered what it is.
Cream rinse.
I know I
Any
don't use a cream rinse because they ain't nothing to rinse anymore. It is my shoes.
Woo.
Oh,
It is the soles of my shoes, which are non-conductive rubber.
huh.
And this is the same reason that many cars develop a static charge, and then when you go to the toll booth and hand that poor toll booth person your quarter,
You zap 'em.
you zap them because the tires cannot discharge into the road, and my shoes do not allow me to discharge.
Well, Jessica doesn't have the shoe problem because she only gets it when she puts the key in the ignition, indicating to me that she's building up the charge as her butt slides across that ugly upholstery in the Jetta.
Maybe. Maybe.
So I should wear cotton pants.
I would switch to cotton for a while and
Okay.
see what happens, but I like the hair theory.
Well, I had an impression that had something to do with it, just because that's a big difference between myself and my mother.
Yeah.
I wish I had a theory to explain how that would work, but I don't. But
Okay.
the butt theory I know is true.
Yeah, but if this discharge of electricity is taking place before you actually start the car, this is as soon as you get the key next to the switch, right?
Right.
A spark jumps.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Right.
it ain't the car that's causing it. It's you, or as my brother said, it could be the seats. You can try covering the seat with something. You can try walking out there with bare feet or different shoes.
Or drive naked.
Or naked, yes, or a cream rinse.
Or
A
Use
different cream rinse.
Maybe more cream rinse.
Maybe more.
Jessica, thanks for calling. You made my day.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
So long.
Bye-bye. All right, look, it's time for me to ask you if you remember last week's puzzler.
And it's time for me to tell you, no, I don't.
Well, it's good to know that we're right on schedule. Anyway, last week's puzzler was mathematical, financial, genealogical, and, of course, sexist. It was about an old man's last will and testament, and we'll be back with the answer in just a minute.
And even though Martha Stewart has been heard to say, who cares what the damn food looks like when she hears us say it, this is NPR.
Support for the Car Talk podcast and the following message come from Quicken. Quicken helps you take control of all your finances from one comprehensive and secure dashboard. Get tools, templates, and calculators to help you track your spending and investments. With over 17 million users over 3 decades, Quicken gives you everything you need to easily review the details of your financial life. Try Quicken risk-free for 30 days when you go to quicken.com/cartalk. This message comes from Car Talk and NPR sponsor BetterHelp, a truly affordable online counseling service. Fill out a questionnaire online and get matched with a licensed counselor best suited to your mental health needs. Whether it's depression, anxiety, or trauma, BetterHelp will help you overcome what stands in the way of your happiness. Learn more at BetterHelp.com and get 10% off your first month with promo code CARTALK. BetterHelp. Get help anytime, anywhere.
You may have noticed something at all these protests over police violence. There are a lot more white people there than you'd expect. But how long will that last?
This awakening among white American voters, how far are they really willing to go beyond dethroning Trump?
Adam Serwer on race and lessons from history.
Listen and subscribe to It's Been a Minute from NPR.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and the answer to last week's puzzler. And
Which I still don't remember.
usually by this point, you've got some inkling.
No, I
No,
have
huh?
none.
Maybe you weren't here last week. Anyway,
I certainly wasn't listening.
what do you do? Do you go into like some parallel universe? Well,
It's possible.
you must, huh?
It is possible, yeah.
I do remember hearing a faint last week. I thought it was just hum coming from one of the transmitters.
Oh,
or
maybe
something.
not.
Maybe it's coming from you. Maybe.
Never mind.
Anyway, this was sent in by a fellow named Paul Mulick, and it went like this. Old Mr. Jones lay on his deathbed, just as his wife, his very young wife, was about to give birth to their first child. The family lawyer had been summoned, Lewis Dewey, so that Mr. Jones could recite his last will and testament. Because he's going to have a new member of the family, he needs to what? Update his will, right?
Yeah.
So Mr. Jones says to the lawyer, if my child is a boy, then I will leave 2/3 of my estate to my son and 1/3 to my wife. If my child is a girl, I'm going to leave 2/3 of my estate to my wife and 1/3 to my daughter. I don't know why he chose to do it this way, but that was his business, right? It seems to short.
His money, you can do anything
Well,
you
it seems
want.
to be shortchanging his daughter for sure. Anyway, so Hugh Lewis Dewey creates the document on his laptop computer, prints it out so Jones can sign it. Mr. Jones grips the pen weakly in his shaking hand and applies his signature to the will. I just try to work in inky shadows here. And then it's lights out for Mr. Jones. He says, "God save the Queen," and he croaks. Moments later, with the help of the attending midwife, Anna Nicole gives birth to twins, one boy and one girl.
Oh.
You remember you guessed this part last week.
Oh, I did, yeah.
And the question is, if you are Hugh Lewis Dewey, do you double bill the estate? And how would you divide Mr. Jones's property?
Well, he's got to give 2/3 to the boy, 1/3 to the girl, and the wife gets nothing.
Oh, that's the way you would do it, but that's why you're not a lawyer.
That's right.
No, it's pretty clear that Jones wanted his son to receive twice as much as the wife, right?
Yeah.
And he also wanted the wife to receive twice as much as the daughter.
Ah.
And the only fair way to, after Jones takes his cut, which you always do first in these estate deals,
Of course.
whatever remains is divided this way. The son gets 4/7. The wife gets 2/7, which is half as much as the son.
Yeah.
And the daughter gets 1/7,
1/7.
which is half as much as the wife. 4/7, 2/7, 1/7 add up to what? 7/7. Pretty good, eh?
That is good.
Do we have a winner?
Yeah, we got a winner. The winner is Mark Conway from Methuen, Massachusetts. Hey, we got a Massachusetts winner. And for having his answer selected at random from among all the correct answers that we got, Mark is going to get a $26 gift certificate to the Shameless Commerce Division at CarTalk.com, with which
Yes.
he can get an authentic Car Talk baseball jersey. Do they all say bench warmer on the back?
No, just yours. Anyway, we'll have another puzzler coming up in the third half of today's show. And I hesitate to say new, but it's new to the vast majority of our listeners because I think I used it about 18 years ago.
Huh.
In the meantime, we'll take your calls at 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi there.
Hi there.
There.
Help me, help me.
We're getting all the wackos today. Who's this?
My first name is Tulis, Tulis.
I told you we were getting all the wackos.
No.
Tulis.
Where are you from?
Originally from Connecticut. Now I live in Venice, California, which is definitely where all the wackos.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Did you adopt this name when you got to Venice, or did you have it, and this is the reason
She
they
didn't
threw you
have
out of
this name
Is this
in
the reason they
Connecticut.
threw you out of Connecticut?
No, no.
Right. I had it, and that's why I had to leave.
You were forced to leave, and the only place that would take you was, of course, Venice.
How many other Tulises have you run into since you've been there?
25.
It's my grandmother's maiden name. She was from Boston.
So Tulis is her last name.
What's her last name? That's my first.
Yeah.
Great. It's a unique name, obviously.
Obviously.
I've never heard it before.
I'm a unique gal.
Yeah, I guess you are.
You're a unique guy.
And you're in the right place to
I
be
know.
unique, man.
Woman.
Venice, California, home of the wackos.
Yes.
I love Venice,
I
California.
know. We have a direct line to you.
Anyway, Tulis, why did you call us?
I called you because I have a Honda Civic wagon, 1985,
Uh-huh.
and has two things. The main thing is that when I step on the brakes in the front left quadrant, there comes a sound that sounds like, it's a cross between, the dentist used that really big drill, that kind of grinding.
The old-fashioned one that turns at 6 RPM.
Oh, the one with the treadle.
Oh, the treadle, right.
Yeah.
Right. The assistant
like-
pedals it.
Yeah, it sounds like that, and then maybe somebody threw some oil and some sand into it.
Yes.
It's this amazing grinding sound.
I got it. That's bad.
And then, then it also occasionally sounds like something's bubbling.
And that sound happens also as you're stepping on the brake?
Yeah, it's the grinding sound comes.
She's
Usually,
nuts.
I notice it when after I've driven for a little bit. Doesn't seem to happen.
You step on the brake and you hear a bubbling sound, Tulis?
Yeah, grinding always.
So you take it to this. The mechanic, is he also in Venice?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. But so you take it to him.
Does he use prisms when he works on cars? Is he into pyramids?
He makes me go away. I don't know what he does. But listen, now in March, I had the left front axle outer boots replaced.
Okay, that's good.
It was after that this started.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I brought
And he
it-
can't find anything wrong with the brakes.
No, and he sheared the left front brake bearings.
He sheared them?
Yeah.
It was like, what are they, like sheep?
He took all the fuzz off. And
No, wait.
Brake bearings? Excuse me.
No, they're no.
Wheel bearings, maybe?
maybe wheel bearings. He said he sheared the left front
Maybe it's a
bearing.
California thing.
Yeah.
Does this mechanic use acupuncture to fix cars or something like
I don't
that?
know. He makes me go away. I'm
He
telling
makes you
you.
go
makes
away.
you
So
go
you don't know
away.
what methods he
The
uses.
laying on of hands. I
Anyway,
used to do it that way.
He sheared the left front bearings. Okay, does that better?
No, it doesn't make any sense, but
But keep going.
keep going. It's getting interesting.
Yeah, it went away for a while, and then it came back, and he said, I can't shear whatever it was he sheared. He said, I can't shear it anymore, or you have to get new brakes.
Can't shear.
And I'm wondering if when he did this left front axle outer boot, if that, because it happened after that.
Okay.
Well, let's think about this.
Please do.
If you step on the brake and you get the grinding noise,
Yeah,
I mean,
and he's examined the pads, and the pads are not all worn out, and that's not causing the grinding.
correct.
Then it could be the composition of the pad that's causing it. And we've had cars where, for one reason or another, will make horrendous noises like scraping, grinding, like dragging a milk bottle across a gravel bed.
and the pads look like they're okay.
Uh-huh.
And what he has done probably, this shearing process is actually probably a deglazing. He's taken the brake pads and roughed them up considerably. And when he does that, the noise probably goes away for a while.
He didn't say that he turned the rotors by any chance.
No.
Oh. No, he
He
didn't.
didn't say that. Okay.
All right. Well,
I would replace the pads first, even if he thinks they're okay. This is such a classic sound that comes from pads that he's got to try that.
Yeah, and ask him to get the pads from the Honda dealer, because they will have in the package the shims and the special paste
And the pyramid.
and the
the special Honda pyramid.
right, and the herbs, the special herbs that you have to sprinkle on them.
The Honda herbs.
The Honda herbs.
Hey, wouldn't it be fun to fix cars in Venice?
I'm going, man.
I'm telling you, man. That's where it is.
Guys, goodbye.
What? You can't hang up on us. We're not
Wait a
finished
minute, we
yet.
haven't gotten to the bubbling issue
We're
yet.
sailing off. Wait a minute. Now, in last December, at 100,000 miles, I see this here now. I had the front brake pads, the rotors, and then R&R. I forget what R&R means.
Oh.
Well,
Rotate and replace or something?
remove and replace.
Remove and replace.
So they at 100,000, they put in new pads and rotors.
Uh-huh.
This same guy?
Yep.
Oh, you got to go back and insist that he fixes it.
So he should do this for free?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just say to him, I think I need real official Honda pads.
All right, I'll go get my Honda Herbal pads.
Yeah.
Pass to get the
The kit, the prisms, what else was it?
You got it.
pyramid pads.
Yeah, that's it.
The pyramids, the paste, the prisms, you got it all. The piece.
The 4 piece.
All right.
Thanks, Tulis. A pleasure talking to you.
Great to talk
Say
to you.
hello to everyone in Venice Beach, the entire population.
I'm on my way right now.
I
See you
love
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 1-888-CAR Talk or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Peter Daniels from Crested Butte, Colorado.
Hi, Peter.
From where?
Crested Butte.
Crested Butte.
It's a small ski town, central Colorado.
It's better than Crusted Brute.
Crusted butt is what
everybody-
I thought it was.
Everybody who lives here has heard that one.
Yeah.
Crested Butte, where? What state?
Colorado.
Colorado.
Oh, okay. So what's up, Peter?
Okay, well, I have a car,
Good.
and that's the first problem. The rest of it is the mechanic, and that's me.
Oh, that's
What
the
a-
second problem.
I know it, and it's a biggie.
Yeah.
The problem is, I could be driving along, and in the day it's not a problem, but generally when I turn on the lights, and particularly if I have the heater on, if I step on the brakes, there's often a flash or sparks, and usually accompanied with the smell of wires.
Where does the flash occur?
That occurs directly above my left foot, near the clutch, and it's at that time that everything about the car stops. So the clock stops ticking, the engine, the lights. The only thing continuing is any forward momentum I might have had. So
what year Dodge Dart is this?
It's a Honda Accord.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
how old?
80, 81, something like that.
80, 81.
Yeah,
when
you go back that far, they just do approximate dates.
Well, I've never figured it out, and every time I need to buy a part for it, they're the same regardless of the year, so I never bothered.
Yeah.
But okay, here's a hint. It may help you. Years ago, a bicycle that was being taken off the roof ripped the antenna off, and I'm wondering if water could have flown down inside of that little extra space that was then made, and then gotten into the wires, and then overheated.
Wait, water could have flown down?
I lived in Washington State. I thought it might have just past tense of flow.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry. It's past participle, right? Flow, flowed, flown.
Well, as long as the point's conveyed.
I loved it.
The point was conveyed.
And the point was, I understood everything.
It didn't bother me.
So
Okay.
you think maybe water got down in a short circuit?
I thought that might have been a short circuit.
I don't think so.
I thought that was the beginning, maybe.
Well, no, you say the problem happens when you step on the brake only.
Yeah.
Well, have you bothered to look to see how many wires you're crunching when you're stepping on the brake?
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's more along the lines of just like power draw.
No,
You
it's
think
not.
so? I mean, the additional power draw when the brake is depressed is pretty minimal.
4 amps.
Okay. Well, why would it be increased? Why would this problem get worse when I also have the blower fan on?
And what happens again? You see sparks?
And I'm nearly confident that when I stand on that brake, it doesn't budge a wire.
And it happens every time?
What if you had everything else off?
Well, without the lights off and without the fan off, it's usually a pretty good bet that I'm fine.
Oh, that's why you have drawn the conclusion you've drawn.
Yeah.
And I'm with you now.
Okay. We're on the
I
same
still
page.
don't believe it. Because, I mean, it's very unlikely that power draw could cause sparks to fly.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to have positive making contact with negative.
A short
Yeah,
circuit.
and that happens when you push a wire somewhere. And I would have to bet big bucks
Okay.
that if you had the stomach for it and could lie down on your back
I've done it.
with your head underneath that dashboard.
Been there.
While driving.
Oh, that's tough. That's a little bit harder.
Well, did you do it with the heater on, the lights on, and have someone depress the brake pedal?
No, I've just done it sitting there in the driveway.
Oh, you've got to turn everything on and pretend that you're driving, but obviously don't.
Exactly.
Put your head under there and have somebody else.
I would wear safety glasses just in case. No, seriously, just in
that's a
case
safe
sparks
bet.
do fly.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. And I think you'll just see what's happening. It's going to be.
So you're still pretty sure that I'm moving a wire when I step on
I think you're going to do a visual on this one.
I think so.
I think so. It is not an electrical problem. It is a mechanical problem.
Okay.
I would bet money on it.
I just don't see how it's related to when the blower's on, though.
It's rare that we get calls like this because most cars with these problems catch fire.
That's
And
another
I don't
story.
know how yours escaped, quite
That's
honestly.
another story. That was a different Honda.
That was oh, you've burned one up already.
Well, that wasn't my fault.
No, you have. I'm telling you have got to be somehow moving a wire.
Okay.
You've got to be, or somehow interrupting a ground circuit. You may be, for example, when stepping on the brake, you may be moving the firewall enough to interrupt a ground circuit.
Jeez, okay.
Okay,
Ooh, that could be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either you have a cracked firewall and you're interrupting a ground circuit that flows through the firewall or some such thing, and that's
And even though skeet shooters everywhere yell pull and toss their radios into the air when they hear us say it, this is NPR.
Support for this podcast and the following message come from the American Jewish World Service, working together for more than 30 years to build a more just and equitable world. Learn more at ajws.org.
Protests over racial injustice are spreading across the country while a pandemic continues to take its toll. The next weeks and months are leading to a consequential election this November. And every day, the NPR Politics Podcast is here to discuss how it could reshape your world.
Ha! We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're here to discuss cars, car repair, and the new/old puzzler.
And we are ready to be dazzled.
Well, I have received some complaints of late that there haven't been very many automotive puzzlers, and I was reminded of this puzzle when a car that had the same problem came into the shop a few weeks ago.
No kidding.
Oh, here it is. A guy came in with his Volvo on the back of the tow truck, and he said, "I'm in trouble. I need your help." He said, "My clutch cable is broken." And I said, "No problem. We can fix it." And he says, "That's not all. The clutch cable is broken 5 times in the last 5 months."
Oh.
And I said, "Oh, bummer." And I said, "Well, what happened?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I had a new clutch put in like 6 months ago. And when they put the new clutch in, they put a new clutch cable in." And I said, "Who did this?" He said, "Some guys who have escaped to a different continent." He said, "But within that period of time, the clutch cable breaks." So he puts a new clutch cable in, figuring that the one they put in was defective. And lo and behold, a month later, that clutch cable breaks. Another month goes by, another clutch cable breaks. And he says, "By this time, I was at my wit's end, so I took it to another shop, figuring the clutch had to be defective, right?"
Ooh.
Right?
He didn't do it.
Right?
He didn't do that. He didn't put a new clutch in.
He did.
He put a new clutch?
So these other guys put a new clutch in and what? Another new cable. And a month later, bingo.
No.
The cable breaks. So he tells me this whole story.
Wow.
And, I did all the preliminary stuff first before I got all these facts.
You got
I got his financial statement. I asked him if he had much exposure in Latin American equities. The whole bit. Once I found out that he was on firm financial ground, we put a new clutch in his car. No, I asked him, I said, "That's interesting." I said, "Under what circumstances does it break?" And he said, "I start the car, I go to drive it away, I step on the clutch, or I go to shift it in gear. I get to the corner, for example, I shift into neutral, I go to start when the light turns green, I step on the clutch, and the cable breaks." And I said, "Well, does the car start now?" He said, "Well, I didn't bother to start it because I couldn't drive it." And I said to him, "I bet it won't start." He said, "Well, of course it should start, because it's just the clutch that's broken." And we go out to the yard, and we turn the key, and nada.
Absolutely nothing. Not even a click, right?
Zilcho. And he says, "What does that have to do with my breaking clutch cables?" And I say,
everything.
Everything. Now, if you think you know the answer, write it on the back of a $20 bill and send it to Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our fair city.
Matt 02238. Or, of course, you can email your answer to us from cartalk.com.
Wow.
If you'd like to converse with us at this very moment, our number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, this is Grant in beautiful Seattle, Washington.
Hi, Grant.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good.
I have 2 Volvos.
Is one of them not doing too well?
No, the problem is, actually, my wife and I are seeing a marriage counselor, and she suggested calling you guys as an exercise in solving some of our car problems.
Really?
Marriage problems, yeah.
So you think the car and the marriage problems are intertwined, so to speak?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's do our best.
So what one of the many problems are, when we're out driving and my wife decides to stop and shop or go visit some of her friends, I would rather stay out in the car, and so I have something to do. I turn on the radio. And she claims that by turning the ignition on and listening to the radio for hours and hours, I'm ruining the points. And I tell her she's got it all wrong and there's no problem.
On what basis do you tell her that you're not ruining the points?
Because I want to listen to the radio.
Try this. Try this next time.
Try this, yeah. Go ahead, Tommy.
Doesn't have any points. Isn't that good, huh?
Well, that was a rather sinister chuckle.
Yeah.
This is true?
It's true.
Yeah, this is true.
Neither one of these cars has points. Both of these cars have electronic ignition, and it doesn't. Neither one of these cars cares if you leave the key on for 5 days.
And even cars that do have points have an accessory position. And
these cars don't.
These cars don't because they don't need it. But if it did have points and you turned it to the on position, she could be right. But if you turned it to the accessory position, electricity goes everywhere except to the points.
And now, who do you figure she heard that from?
Us.
No. Well, besides us.
No, she probably heard it from her father.
Her father, yes.
Of course.
No,
it's her father because in his day that was absolutely true.
See, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, good. That was good thinking.
But today's her birthday.
Today's her birthday.
Yes.
All right, here's what you do. Here's what you do. You say, hon, you'll never guess what I got you for your birthday. I took out that old ignition system that was in these two cars and replaced both of them with electronic ignition so that they no longer have points. You were absolutely right. I was burning up the points, but it will never happen again because the cars don't have points anymore.
And they wonder why my brother sleeps in the garage as often as he does.
And
you can't have a relationship based on lies.
All right, try this. I talked to the car guys, and they said your head was square. They said you were absolutely wrong, and I was right. And it's just another example of my being right all the time. When the hell are you going to shape up and understand that? And happy birthday, by the way. Try that.
Yeah. I like that better.
I don't know how that'll work.
All right, no, wait. There's got to be a middle ground here.
So when she goes shopping, she goes with her girlfriends?
No, she goes alone.
Just alone.
So you drop, why don't you go in? Where does she go that you don't want to go with her?
I don't like shopping at all.
Oh, Grant.
You've
got to give it
every
to him.
relationship is give and take.
Oh.
And I don't like shopping either.
Well, the truth is that most women don't want husbands to be shopping with them.
I love to shop with my wife because I drive her nuts. When we go grocery shopping together, as soon as she turns her back, I throw in like 7 or 8 cans of marshmallow fluff. And I bury them. When we get to the checkout counter, she says, how the hell did all this stuff get in here? I say, I don't know. I don't know, but it's too. But if you give up your spot, you're going to be there for another hour, so we have to buy
And you can't
this
pile up 8 jars of marshmallow fluff on the little thing there. What do you call that thing?
The conveyor?
The conveyor belt.
Oh, no, we have to buy the stuff. It's in our wagon. If it's in your wagon, you're obligated by law to buy the stuff.
But I know, but you can't blame Grant for not wanting to go shopping with us because she's probably looking at clothing and she's going to say, do I look fat in this? And then what do you do?
Then you have to lie.
Then you got to lie. So if you're going to lie, why not lie about the points? That's my point.
But yeah, I never touched the car, so if I actually told her I did that, boy, that'd be a big...
No, you had it done. She's not going to believe you if you tell her.
I see.
You had it done.
See, I don't think I want to encourage Grant to lie. I think Grant should tell the truth, that he heard it from us, and Grant should try shopping once in a while.
All right.
All right?
Give and take.
Give and take. There you go, brother.
Can I have the number of this marriage counselor?
He's gonna need to talk to her.
I'm gonna need to talk to her about some issues. I have issues.
Yeah, we know that. See you, Grant.
Hey, thanks for calling. I hope we've helped.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We didn't help.
No, you never, ever know.
Speaking of
help
and the fact that I sleep in the garage very frequently because I have such poor wife skills, you'll never guess who we got email from today.
One of your first wives? First Wives Club?
No. Tom Goodale. And you know why I thought of him in this context, but I don't want to discuss it.
No kidding.
Tom had more ex-wives than I did.
Yeah.
Man, he had ex-wives.
I mean, maybe like 5. Or
maybe like 5.
We don't know. We haven't seen him for years. He could be up to an even dozen.
That was my first question to him. How many ex-wives do you have now?
A great guy whom you never would want to be married to, but a wonderful guy.
The sweetest person. He says, you probably don't remember me. And I wrote back, how could we forget you? Tom was one of the very first customers that we had when we opened our first garage.
Indeed.
And he helped us to build our classroom.
He did indeed.
Not he helped us.
He
built our classroom.
Yeah.
We made a deal with him. He saw us struggling there, and he was doing something to his car, rebuilding a carburetor or something. And he says, look, it's clear that you guys don't have any idea what you're doing with the wood here and the 2x4s. He said, and I don't know anything about cars. How about you fix my car, I'll build the classroom. So we said, what a deal. We fixed his car in 15 minutes.
He was up there for 6 months.
He was up there for 6 months rebuilding the classroom.
Of course, we haven't heard from him since this email.
Now, that was one of the best deals we ever made.
No, he's a good guy.
Well, he's going to have coffee with us.
Excellent.
I invited him over.
Cool. 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Gretchen calling from Breckenridge, Colorado.
Hi, Gretchen.
How are you?
We're great.
Breckenridge, Colorado?
Yes. About an hour and a half west of Denver in the mountains.
Yeah. What's shaking?
Well, I'm calling. I have a 95 Mercury Sable, and it has about 85,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
I moved out to Colorado last summer from Michigan, and the day that I drove it into the mountains, my car proceeded to die on me. Anytime that I went over any sort of a pass.
That means when you were climbing a mountain.
Yeah, when I was climbing a mountain.
How about when you reached the top?
Yeah, it would die then.
How about when you were coming down the mountain?
Coming down was fine.
Uh-huh.
And the other time, as in warmer weather, it was in the summer, going into the city and then not going on any passes at all, but in stop-and-go traffic in warm weather, and I would usually have my air on.
Uh-huh.
I took it in the first time that it happened last summer.
Uh-huh.
They did a complete diagnostic check on it, on the computer system.
I thought so.
Yeah.
And found
of course,
what?
Nothing registered.
Nothing, of course.
Right. And I'm afraid they couldn't figure it out because they were looking at the wrong thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you a question, and it would be wonderful, Gretchen.
Yes.
And might be worth considerable cash.
If your answer was yes.
If you're driving the car, or even if you stop but the engine is running,
right?
Do you hear a humming noise coming from the rear of the car? Think hard now.
Ooh,
Think
do
hard.
everything in your power.
Think hard now. You might be able to intuit the answer.
I know.
I think the answer is
I
going to be
really
no.
want to say yes.
Well, good for you, Gretchen. All right.
But I can't. I really can't recall that noise.
It may be that it is sneaked up on you.
Yeah, and lots of times things happen and you don't even know they're happening. So let's assume, at least for the moment,
For the sake of argument, that in fact Gretchen's car has this humming noise.
Okay.
Which she
and
is
then
going
we'll
to
get back to it not
verify
having
by
it.
sitting in the back seat.
Okay.
And if you sit in the back seat with the engine running, you may hear a
okay,
which shouldn't be there. And what I
Okay.
think is wrong with your car is you have a weak fuel pump.
Okay.
And that would explain why you lose power, especially on the hills.
all the classic symptoms of a bad fuel
Okay.
pump, which they would never find on their stupid little computer because the computer is telling them about other
Well,
stuff.
it doesn't check the fuel pump either. Now, you're going to tell us that they tested the fuel pump.
I am.
I know
I
that.
have a little bit of history here I forgot to reveal.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
That's all right.
This did happen in Michigan once, right before I left.
Ah!
Same situation, sitting, my mom was driving, it was in park, it was a really hot day, and it died.
Ah!
And then, to preface this, I'd had a fuel pump, a brand new fuel pump put in 2 summers ago.
Oh, Gretchen. Okay.
So, and I mean...
Well, the first instance with your mother could well have been the fuel pump. It could also have been vapor lock.
Okay.
But I don't think it was.
Now, that's what people have been telling me around here.
But
that
I'm
it's
trying
vapor
to...
lock.
Well,
here's what you do.
That's the other
To
possibility.
put all the speculation to rest, I think you need to have someone test the fuel pump with a long test. In other words, if they just put the tester on there and run the
Okay.
car for a minute, they may, in fact, determine that the fuel pressure is okay.
Okay.
But if they let the thing run and get good and hot on a hot day, you may see the pressure dropping
Okay.
as time goes on. And they can also do a volume test because there is a specification for how much volume the pump should pump.
Okay.
And I suspect you're going to find that the pump is no good.
Okay.
I have to say that even though you threw in that little red herring about your mother, that I don't like the vapor lock idea. I don't think it
No?
has anything to do with vapor lock, and I'm sticking with my brother's analysis here, a diagnosis of the fuel pump.
Okay.
And I think you've just tried to obfuscate this entire situation, Gretchen, and don't call us again.
And you won't be on Stump the Chumps. See you, Gretchen.
All right. Thanks very much.
Hey, thanks for calling, Gretchen. You've been a lot of fun.
Thank you very much.
Even though you gave all the wrong answers.
Yeah, and the wrong questions, too. See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, it's happened again. You've squandered another perfectly good hour listening to Car Talk. Our esteemed producer is Doug the Subway Fugitive, not a slave to fashion, Bongo Boy, Frogman Berman. Our associate producers are David the Calves of Belleville Green and Catherine Frau Blucher Fenolosa. Our web lackey is Doug the Old Gray Mare, assisted by Connie Britchford. Our engineer is John Cartman Perotti. Our theme music is by David Dog Grisman. And our technical, spiritual, and menu advisor, just back from the Rotterdam Glazed Ham, Cam Spam, Roast Lamb, Fried Clam, Candied Yam, Grand Slam, is John Bugsy Lawler.
Dewey Cheatham Howe and WBUR in Boston.
And even though shipwrecked sailors opt to wait for their rescue without a radio when they hear us say it, this is NPR.
This message comes from NPR sponsor Fidelity Wealth Management. See how a Fidelity representative can help with tax-smart guidance throughout the year.